Good morning from sunny-ish Oceanside, California. It is June the 10th, 9 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Daylight Time. We are making just some final adjustments to everything. Everything's pretty much ready. I mean, we're feeling really good about the start. We've got a race plan. Thomas is feeling good. Everybody's been sleeping really well, jiving really well. I mean, to be a rookie Ram crew, I mean, I do feel like I'm, surrounded by a ton of professionals, which is very helpful in this. So we are tying up a couple loose ends this morning, and hopefully this afternoon we're going to go lay out at the beach, at least a few of us that want to. Right now we're finishing up things like the food log and the checklist. And this food log is 81 pages. Stacy made it, and basically as we progress, we'll write down, for calorie tracking. When you're talking about racing somebody for 20 plus hours at a time, you can't keep up with that sort of caloric intake. And so we track it, and so we can kind of see trends. If we're having, stomach issues or whatever the case may be, we can, make changes if we need to. Because when you're talking about two crews of, 3 people each, you have to make sure that everything you've done has continuity from one one crew to the next. I don't have 2 mechanics. I don't have 2 masseuses. I have 1 chief navigator, and there's the wife. I have 1 chief navigator. I have 1, physical therapist, nutritionist, and so everybody kind of has to cross-pollinate their jobs over to make sure that the left hand knows what the right hand's doing. And so we pretty much got everything set up, and we'll go through, the vans maybe a little later if we haven't done that already, and just kind of show you kind of our final touches of everything. But anyway, if you have some encouragement or things you want to send, we've put out some outlets for email and different things. We're trying to, just given the timing, we're trying to throttle at least sometimes the amount of individual things that Thomas gets, and that allows us to ensure that rest is preserved. Even though he won't really ever have his phone on him when he's resting, but that we keep him focused. And so we will be feeding him that stuff. We have the email is great. Justin Barbary is kind of collecting all those things together, so you can email us at teamkpf.racecrossamerica@gmail.com. And we'll collect those, and he puts them together in a little book for us. And so one crew to the next will be doing that. Our starting time is tomorrow at 1:19 Pacific Daylight Time. And we are planning on going somewhere north of probably 30-something hours, 36 hours of racing right out of the gate. And then we go into rest, and then we're going to try our best to start a schedule that we will keep to allow the crews some consistency, and Thomas. There's going to be times where he's going to feel good, and just based off the logistics or the weather or whatever the case may be, that we say, look, it's rest time. But we'll be guiding all that. And one thing that, having watched him develop, over the years, we've been doing this, at least him and I have been doing this together for at least 6 years, is an immense amount of trust, and he has to trust us. So, if we say you got to get off, he's got to get off. If we say eat this, he's got to eat this. And when you get so far down into this, when fatigue sets in and you lose your appetite and all those different things, it's just, we have to have a plan. We have to have a lot of trust there. And I think we definitely have that amongst our crew. So if you have questions along the way, feel free to send us some stuff, some questions. Send them to me if you can. I'll get to them as quick as I can. But the crew number 1, which is Lee, Justin, and Zach, will be rolling with Thomas when we start tomorrow, and then Josh, myself, and Stacy will be in the other van, who we've nicknamed Graybird. We'll be pushing up to Borrego Springs for our first crew swap, which is not too far into the race as far as time goes, but it helps us get on that schedule that we're looking for. And the follow van, if you hear this, the follow van we've nicknamed Spare Tire. And the reason is because if you notice, if you'd followed us whenever we started, we had a white van, and we put everything on it and got it all in. I got ready to build the shelves, and there was no spare tire. And so there was no spare tire, there was no jack, it was not run flat tires. It was a complete potential for disaster. So I went back to Enterprise and said, we need another van. Got another one. That's why we ended up with the dark gray one, which we nicknamed Spare Tire. So that one is a primary follow vehicle. However, both vans are set up that if we were to have a major mechanical or some sort of issue with the primary follow vehicle, we can pretty much I'd say probably 30 minutes, can completely pull everything out of the one van and put it in the other one, and call Enterprise and give them the coordinates. So, it's just a lot of duplication just in case we were to have some sort of major mechanical issue. But that's kind of what we're going on right now. Thomas is out on a 45-minute ride, just a last-minute this is the last ride before he goes to bed tonight, and we start racing tomorrow. So we cannot thank you guys enough, our family, our friends, our followers, for all the support that we've gotten financially and through encouragement and through donations and whatever the case may be. I'm going to try my best, while we're racing, when we go live, just to kind of give some shout outs to people that have really helped us. I'm sure I'll forget some people, and I'll just apologize in advance. But we're gonna do our best to make sure that we provide, we kind of bring you along. There's gonna be moments where we're just gonna be really, really busy, and when we're on some of those long stretches and we have some time, I'll try to bring you along, so you can kind of see what we're doing and experience it. The one thing that we want more than anything else is that people learn about what Kyle Peace Foundation is, and learn about what connectability is and why they exist and who they serve. And, for us to get out and do this as folks that have families and jobs and everything else, just for individual reasons, to me, it's asking a bit much, but when we're able to raise this amount of money and awareness, to say, look, there are people at home that have to be set up out of bed or have to be fed everything, or, and so with Kyle Peace Foundation and connectability, these are organizations that get them moving, get them out the door, that get them in these race chairs. And if you're not connected to that yet, if you haven't seen that, get on their Facebook pages or get on their Instagram and follow them and look at the pictures of those racers smiling and living and just moving fast, in these chairs, whether it be through triathlon or running or whatever the adaptive sport that it is. It's so life-giving, and we take all that for granted. And so when we're struggling, when things aren't going well or we're sore, that's the reminder that we're going to give ourselves. And that's the reminder we're going to give Thomas, is that, well, first of all, you signed up for this. So I'm going to tell him that a lot. So if he wants to not ride. And then primarily will be, I want you to think about those folks that we're trying to help, and that we're taking this campaign, and yes, we're putting a lot of emphasis on it on our families at home and our networks at the Atlanta area, but we're also taking it across the country. This past year, last year, Brent and Kyle Pease, competed in Kona, and they took their campaign out there and they said, you know what, anything's possible. in situations like this. And that's what we want to spread as we go across the country. People say, why in the world would you do this? And we'll tell them why. So anyway, that's the deal with us right now. Things are going really, really well, and we appreciate all the support. And if you have any questions, try to send them to me, and I'll try to answer them in a timely fashion. But as we have service, reliable service, we'll try to go live some, and we will. A lot of it will be kind of after the fact uploads and stuff as we capture, this great country that we're going to be traveling across at with our hazards on. So thanks a lot, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.